Queen of Apostles Secondary School in Suka was like many other all-girls Catholic schools, strict, competitive, and full of traditions. But it also had its stories. One of the most unforgettable was the story of Chinyere Okafor and Nkechi Ibe, two best friends who were very different but deeply connected. Chinyere came from a financially better family. Her father was a university lecturer and her mother worked at the hospital. She always had enough pocket money, her textbooks were brand new, and her clothes were always neat. Chinyere was tall, calm, and every teacher's favorite. She wanted to become a doctor and always had the right answers in class. Her grades shone like her neatly ironed white socks. Nkechi, however, came from a humble background. Her father had died when she was young, and her mother sold vegetables in the market. Nkechi helped out by selling puff-puffs during break time. She was full of energy and joy. She made people laugh with her funny stories and sometimes mixed up Igbo proverbs. Even when life was hard, Nkechi's laughter could brighten anyone's day. Every night in the dormitory, while other girls whispered about boys or scary ghosts stories, Chinyere and Nkechi would sneak to the wide almond tree behind the dining hall. There, under the stars, they would talk about the future. Chi, Nkechi once whispered, one day you go de obodo oyibo, treat white people with accent. Me, I go get big cold room for Port Harcourt, sell fish, chicken, everything, even. White people go buy from me, Chinyere laughed. Then you'll send me Titus fish in winter, eh? They linked their pinky fingers under the full moon and promised never to lose touch. But life doesn't always follow our promises. Fate listens only sometimes. Their results came out. Chinyere had 9 distinctions. Everyone in the village was talking about it. She had worked hard, staying up late to study even when the lights went out. Nkechi, her best friend, didn't do as well. She barely managed to get 5 credits. It was enough to pass, but just barely. At Chinyere's house, there was loud celebration. Her mother shouted with joy and danced around the compound. Neighbors brought drinks and food to congratulate them. A few days later, a letter came in a big brown envelope. It was a scholarship offer from a Canadian foundation. They had seen her results and wanted to sponsor her education abroad. When Jijuna, her mother, read the letter, she cried and fell into the arms of the village catechist, sobbing into his agbada. The next Sunday, the Anglican bishop called Chinyere to the altar and prayed for her in front of the whole church. People clapped and praised God, but Nkechi's house was quiet. Her father had died when she was younger. He was electrocuted while fixing a faulty transformer in their area. Since then, Nkechi had done everything she could to help her family survive. She hawked snacks during holidays, sold pepper at her mother's stall, and sometimes worked late. Into the night at her aunt's roadside food joint. School fees were a dream they couldn't afford. One day, Nkechi borrowed a friend's phone. She stared at the screen for a long time, then typed slowly, "I'm proud of you. Never forget. Me, Nkechi." She hesitated, then sent the message. Later, Chinyere replied with a heart emoji and a blurry photo of falling snow. That was all. Nkechi stared at the photo, her eyes burning with unshed tears. She smiled faintly, but her heart ached. Chinyere was going far away, living the life they used to dream about together. And she was still here, stuck in the shadows of a dream that wasn't hers anymore. Years later, the sun poured like lava from the sky, heavy and unforgiving. The streets buzzed with noise, keek riders shouting, danfo drivers honking, and traders calling for customers. Nkechi balanced a basin filled with sachets of cold water on her head. Her feet moved carefully between stuck vehicles and impatient drivers. Pure water, a cold one, she whispered again and again, her voice hoarse. Her blouse clung to her skin, soaked with sweat. Her throat burned with thirst, but she kept going. Then, honk, honk, A sleek black Benz came to a stop beside her. The car sparkled. With tinted windows and shiny chrome details, she ignored it at first. Cars like that didn't stop for people like her. But then, the window rolled down slowly, with a soft hum. Nkechi? She turned. Her breath caught. Chinyere, but not the Chinyere she remembered from school. This woman was polished, lashes long like feathers, face painted with smooth makeup like a model in a magazine. She held an iPhone and wore gold bangles that jingled as she moved, and Nkechi's face lit up with joy. Ah, Chi, is this dream? Chinyere's smile barely touched her eyes. Her gaze moved slowly from Nkechi's worn-out slippers to her faded skirt and the basin of water on her head. So it's true, Chinyere said, lips curved into a half-smile. You're hawking water now. Nkechi gave a small, nervous laugh. Na hustle, my sister. Life no balance. But before she could say more, Chinyere was already holding up her phone. Wait. Smile now. You might go viral. Moments later, the photo appeared on Instagram. Caption, "This is what happens when you joke with school." From classmate to street hawker, stay woke. Motivation Monday. Levels Laughter echoed from inside the car. Her friends, girls dressed in luxury, sneered and giggled like children watching a circus act. Nkechi stood frozen. Not from shame, but from something deeper, a pain that cut across years of memories, of pinky promises under moonlight, of dreams shared under an almond tree. She didn't say a word. The Benz drove off, and she continued hawking, her steps heavier now. That night, as rain tapped gently on the zinc roof of her mother's one-room home, Nkechi lay curled in her corner. She pulled her wrapper over her face and cried, quiet, aching tears that soaked into her pillow. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the silence that followed. The next morning, Nigeria woke up to drama. The photo of Nkechi, shared by Chinyere, had gone viral overnight. Gossip blogs reposted it with flashing headlines. Comedians turned it into skits. Influencers debated it in long Instagram stories. Everyone had an opinion. Comments flooded in like rain during Harmattan. Wahala! Fake friends full everywhere. Chai, poverty na bastard. This is wickedness, oh. God bless the hawker girl, she deserves better. In homes, offices and bus parks, people talked about it. In a makeup studio in Lekki, a young woman turned to her friend. Can you imagine taking a photo of your friend just to disgrace her? Nawao. At a university hostel in Enugu, girls gathered around a phone, some with tears in their eyes. This girl looks like someone I know, one whispered. Meanwhile, far away in Victoria Island, Lagos, a man paused mid-coffee, Remy Lawson. Age 42, CEO of Swiftjet Logistics, billionaire with humble beginnings in the slums of Mushin. He had once hawked pure water too. He scrolled past the flashy caption, but something stopped him. He zoomed in on the photo. The basin was tilted, ready to fall. Sweat sparkled on her forehead, but her eyes, fierce, tired, proud, told a story he understood deeply. He turned to his assistant. Find her. Then he posted to his 2 million Twitter followers. If anyone knows this girl, I want to change her story. Real queens don't stay on the floor. The internet exploded. Twitter went mad. Facebook followed. Instagram live sessions analyzed the post like a national crisis. A mechanic in Port Harcourt, who had once bought water from Nkechi at Rumuola Junction, commented under the post, I sabi the girl. She dey sell for my side. Rumuola Junction, God don't pick her call. The comment spread quickly. Within hours, reporters, bloggers, and curious onlookers began to show up at the busy junction. Some came with phones, hoping to catch a glimpse of the hawker girl from the viral photo. Others just wanted to see if the billionaire's promise was real. Nkechi was skeptical. The next morning, she tied her wrapper tighter and fixed her scarf, preparing for another day of hawking. She had barely stepped out when a black SUV pulled. Up beside her, clean and shiny, like something out of a music video. She froze. Two men in black suits stepped out. Her instinct screamed, "Run." Then one of them opened the back door. A man in a light blue shirt and calm eyes stepped out. "Are you Nkechi Ibi?" he asked gently. She nodded slowly. "Yes." "I'm Remy Lawson," he said. "I saw your picture. Online." Her whole body tensed. Her hands gripped the basin tighter. "I know the photo was meant to mock you," he said, "but I saw something else. Resilience, strength, fire. I want to offer you a chance." She blinked. "A chance? Yes. 6 months mentorship, full business training, food, accommodation, everything covered, no strings attached." She stared at him, her lips parted, but no words came. Was this a trick? Was he playing with her, like Chinyere did? "Why me?" she asked at last, voice shaking. Remy smiled. "Because I was you, once." Nkechi's heart thudded in her chest. Her throat tightened. She looked at her hands, still damp from carrying cold sachets of water. "Yes, sir," she whispered. Mentorship began. Nkechi's life changed overnight. She flew to Lagos, the very first time she had ever been on a plane. Her heart raced during takeoff, and she pressed her face to the window like a child seeing the world for the first time. At the hotel, she gasped at the clean white bed, the scented towels, and the endless hot water. It felt like a dream. Every day she attended classes, accounting, customer service, digital marketing, and business management. Some of the lessons confused her. She failed a few tests. She cried more than once. But Remy never shouted. He would sit with her, explain again, and say, "You're stronger than you know." She kept going. At the end of 6 months, Remy handed her an envelope. 2 million naira, he said. "Go back to Port Harcourt. Build your dream." Nkechi returned home with a fire in her heart. She launched Nkechi Chilled Crates Cold Logistics. From a small cold room in Diobu, she sold frozen chicken, Titus fish, gizzards, and chilled drinks. Her service was clean, fast, and polite. Word spread. Within a year, she had 5 commercial fridges, 10 staff, and delivery deals in Delta, Bayelsa, and Imo states. Customers lined up. Restaurants called her the Cold Room Queen. She built a small but beautiful bungalow for her mother, painted yellow with a red roof. And in her office, right behind her desk, she hung only one picture on the wall, the Instagram post, framed. She called it her altar of remembrance. Meanwhile, Lagos was no longer kind to Chinyere. The glamour faded quickly. Her high-profile senator fiancé was arrested in a 500 million naira fraud scandal. EFCC stormed their luxury home in Ikoyi. Their engagement was called off the next day, and she became a trending topic for all the wrong reasons. She tried bouncing back by launching a skincare brand. She ordered products from China with borrowed money, dreaming of luxury shelves and influencer deals. But customs seized the entire shipment due to incomplete paperwork. Her investment vanished. Her dreams of practicing medicine in Canada also hit a wall. Her medical license was stuck in endless red tape, and to get any hospital in Nigeria to accept her for housemanship, she needed to pay a N2 million facilitation fee. Money she no longer had. Her beloved Benz was seized by the bank. The apartment, which she claimed she owned, turned out to be rented. It was locked up when she couldn't renew the lease. She ended up living with a distant cousin in a crowded flat in Ohota, where she was reminded daily about electricity bills and water charges. With no choice, she started selling wigs on Instagram. Home service only. DM for prices, her bio read. Then one quiet evening, while scrolling through Instagram, she saw a post. Port Harcourt's rising queen, Nkechi Ibi, wins Business Excellence Award. A sharp gasp escaped her lips. Her phone slipped from her hand. Her chest tightened. "No, no," she whispered, staring at the screen as her past came back, not to haunt, but to humble her. Desperation led Chinyere to Port Harcourt. She had heard whispers of a business conference, women in enterprise, rising from the ashes. It sounded like a last hope. She scraped together what she could, borrowing a gown from her cousin and using her last N5000 to print flyers for her struggling wig business. On the bus ride down, she rehearsed her pitch over and over, praying someone, anyone, would notice her. She sat quietly near the back of the hall, nerves twisting her stomach. Around her, women networked, exchanged business cards, laughed confidently. Giniere remained still, clutching her flyers, silently practicing her lines. Then the host stepped forward. "And now," she announced, "please welcome our keynote speaker, Miss Nkechi Ibe, CEO of Nkechi Chilled Crates Cold Logistics." Applause erupted. Chiniere's body went still. She looked up, and there she was, Nkechi, draped in royal blue Ankara silk, heels clicking with grace, hair sleek in a low bun. Her skin glowed under the lights. She walked with purpose, owning the stage like she'd been born for it. When Nkechi spoke, her voice was clear and firm. "They took my photo to mock me, but God used it to mold me." That moment of shame became the fire that refined me. Pain doesn't define us, purpose does. The audience rose to their feet. Applause echoed. Some women cried. Others nodded in deep agreement. But Chiniere couldn't clap. Her hands remained in her lap. Tears slipped down her cheeks, not just from shame, but from the bitter taste of regret. After the session, Chiniere stood alone outside the conference hall, clutching her flyers with trembling fingers. The noise from inside had faded, but her heart pounded louder than ever. Then Nkechi emerged, surrounded by staff, photographers, and flashing cameras. She smiled and waved at people calling her name, confident and radiant. Their eyes met. Nkechi paused mid-step. Chiniere stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was proud, foolish, I hurt you." There was silence, only the hum of traffic in the distance. "I have nothing left," Chiniere continued, her eyes welling up. "But I wanted to say, I'm sorry." Nkechi looked at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, she stepped forward and embraced her. "I forgave you," Nkechi whispered. "The day I framed your post, it reminded me that even betrayal can be a gift." She pulled back gently and slipped a card into Chiniere's hand. "Come tomorrow," she said. "Let's build again." Chiniere's lips trembled. The dam in. Her heart broke. She sank to the ground, tears flowing freely, but this time it wasn't shame that made her cry. It was grace, and the feeling that maybe, just maybe, this was a second chance. Chiniere joined Nkechi Chilled Crates Cold Logistics. As a sales manager, the beginning was tough, far from the luxury life she once knew. She started at the bottom, taking orders, learning inventory, dealing with demanding customers. It was humbling. There were days she cried in the restroom, but she stayed. She listened. She learned. And slowly she grew. The staff, who once eyed her with suspicion, began to respect her. She earned her place, not through charm, but through effort. She and Nkechi began to laugh again, share stories, even dream together. At the company's end-of-year gala, they sat side by side at the VIP table. Lights sparkled, music played, and the hall buzzed with joy. "Imagine," Chiniere whispered, turning to her. "The photo meant to shame you became your ladder." Nkechi smiled, her eyes warm. "That's how God works. He doesn't need our permission to lift who he chooses." They laughed. Sisters again. The end. Thank you for watching. If you found this story fascinating, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing stories.
Like and subscribe.